Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind, these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are after market close on Thursday, December 30th. We're going to take a look at SoFi. As you certainly know by now, SoFi had a phenomenal day today, up over 10%. And I want to sort of talk about what I'm seeing on the chart at the moment and how we could potentially look for this range break, which we've been talking about ever since we left this channel and started consolidating sideways. I've been talking about, are we going to get a range break up? Are we going to get a range break down? I sure hope that we're putting in a range right now. And it did a good job of putting in that range, say, for about a solid 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks. And today we could have gotten the range break to the upside, which could mean that we get an upside breakout, but I'll talk about sort of like a few updates to the chart, and then I'll talk about what I would want to see in order to feel confident that that breakout could be occurring. Now, I want to zoom out for a sec onto the weekly here and talk about a couple of things. So if you recall, there was this weekly downtrend that we broke through back here, and that really helped us make a third run, I guess you could call it, at this $25 resistance level. I'll just call it that. I know it's $24.69 on the chart right now, but to me, it's really that $25 psychological level. And so I do think that there's increasing value in watching strongly these weekly downtrend resistance lines that have been in play since February, so for almost an entire year, and play a really strong macro effect or impact on SoFi, the stock. So looking at that, if we continue to work our way up, even if we work our way up at a pretty good clip, we're probably going to hit this resistance level somewhere in the 18s, maybe even mid to high 17s. And so I would just sort of like keep that in mind as well if we do start to break out. To me, a break above this weekly downtrend resistance would be really, really important and critical for an extended breakout. And then this one up here is just to sort of like gauge our, say, intensity or temerity in terms of making another run, a most recent run at $25 again. And maybe this time we will find that the selling pressure that has always existed there has dried up to some degree, and maybe there's the ability to kind of stabilize around that area. Maybe there's the ability to run through it for a little while, even if we pull back down into it or below it. But I want to sort of point out those weekly downtrend resistance levels and lines to just say, we should keep a strong eye on those if this does seem to start to break out. Now, what I want to see in order to feel like it's actually breaking out is, yes, we have a tremendous candle here today, right? At one point today, we were up to 16.35. So we were about 21 cents within this 16.56 next resistance level. That said, we've closed at 15.95. So we are, 38 cents. Doing math on a video is hard. 38 cents above this 15.57. I would actually like to see it come down at some point here and retest it, confirm support there, and then make a run at 16.56. Then I would really feel like we have breakout potential. Now, obviously, the quicker it does it, the quicker the true quote-unquote breakout potential would be. There is also the possibility that we just continue to put ourselves into different ranges, consolidates, and then range break, and put ourselves into a different range, and then range break. So that could certainly be the case. But, things kicking off today on a over 10% green day, we at least want to talk about, fantasize about the possibility of a stronger breakout and a run here. So to me, that's what that would look like. And that would maybe happen like all in one day tomorrow, meaning, at open or something, it comes down and tests this 1557, strong bounce, strong confirmation off of it. And remember, it doesn't necessarily hit that to the penny, but it gets into like a relative range, a relative zone of that area, of that price point. And so, for this to really sort of be the kickoff to a big run or a big breakout, to me would be probably tomorrow, coming down, testing that 1557, and then really quickly and speedily heading toward that 1656 resistance level and testing it there. Now, what it does there, I don't know. But that to me is what breakout potential looks like. Otherwise, if it does come back down to that 1557, even if it's not going to break out, and even if it comes back down to their next Wednesday or something, and in the meantime, it just sort of like fiddles around up here, that would be fine to me if it comes down and reconfirms. It may just not mean that it's going to be a rocket ship to the upside. It might be a little bit more of what goes slowly up into the air. A helicopter? A Cessna? It might be more of a Cessna to the upside. But yeah, I think tomorrow will be telling, and whenever we encounter that 1557, I think will be telling. I guess the other possibility is obviously that it could lose 1557, but the other possibility is it doesn't test that, makes the run at 1656, overtakes it, and confirms that as support. That, of course, could happen as well. But I like to see these, healthy confirmations along the way. It helps give me, and this is just particular to me, but it helps give me confidence in the move. Because as we've seen before, we're not like spring chickens to this game, right? This was an 11% up day, and we see the wavy gravy there. And then we had a 13% up day, and then we started to break out, right? And we had a beautiful breakout. Run at 25. Tried hard to get that 25, but then what happened? We came all the way back down into the 13. So let's not fool ourselves into thinking that, we haven't been through this tremendous roller coaster constantly. 13 to 25, 13 to 25. Now maybe we're going again, 13 to 25. Who knows? But I just, would say don't lose sight of that. And confirmations of support levels that have recently been broken through as resistance levels is a really nice way to take additional confidence in the possibility that there is a stronger breakout occurring. So I'll leave that diatribe there. Now, if we jump into the intraday, because it was obviously a fun one. So immediate quick run up this morning, right? And bumped our head initially off this 1557. I said it's not to the penny, but this was darn close. This was 1560, right? Our immediate run up, our pull back at that 1560, and then found nice support here where it had consolidated at this point, right? That's why we put in these like levels of previous support. You see that hits again here, right? When it struggles and pulls back, it pulls back into this same zone. These are all the same zones. It's like 1540-ish zone. And then, can't hold support, like we just talked about. Test that 1540 and bounces off of that again. And then flips, confirms support, and then it's just off to the races, right? And at this point, it's holding like really strongly above the MA the whole way. The EMA, I pulled in this blue one here. This is the 5 EMA. I don't actually like to look at this on the intraday. So let me take it off, and then I'll go back to the daily and talk about sort of the 5 EMA on the daily. But it just did a really good job not relinquishing the 50 EMA and spending its highest upward movement periods holding above that 12 EMA. Comes down, tests on that 34, and back to the races, tests on the 50, back to the races, wrestles with the 50 a bit, runs back up, and then finally here around power hour, right around 3 o'clock, we get that flip. And I think probably, maybe not folks who were buying up here, but I was certainly looking for quite a while for, okay, when's the pullback coming? Because I didn't think that it was likely that we're going to run into close and be up like 15%. And so that's where we got the pullback, and continuing to pull back after hours, as you see at the moment. So maybe we'll get a test of the level, the 1557 level that I've been talking about. But, really solid day today off the EMAs, and it was such a rocket ship this morning. I mean, the VWAP played a small role really at like within the first like 15 minutes of open, and then it was kind of a non-factor. I mean, you could say maybe a bit here it was a factor, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, just a really, really great day. Nice to see this after the challenges that we all have been through during this drawdown in this channel that we've been stuck in. Now, quickly back to the 5 EMA, and then I'll let you go. Let me now have to pull it back in. Also giving apparently a brief tutorial on how to add and subtract EMAs on the Webull desktop app. But I pulled in the 5 here just because, yes, on the downtrend it was holding below the 12, but it was really holding pretty tightly. Right? It kept rejecting off the 5 here, and then it tried to flip the 5, rejected off the 12, and then was holding underneath the 5 again, and then sandwiched itself here between the 5 and the 12, struggled with that, and now today is busting out again. But this is the first time through all of that action today, meaning that we're getting the possibility, now it'll depend what happens tomorrow because it's not there yet, of a bullish crossover. This blue 5 EMA crossing above the 12 EMA, and with that it should then drag that 12 up, and then it has the possibility for 2 more bullish crossovers here on the 34 and then on the 50, and that could certainly help carry it up to test and see what it wants to do at this 1656 level, if and when it makes its run there. So just thought I'd point that out, and for what it's worth, if you set your charts up in similar ways at all and kind of check on it on the daily, I pulled that in today because it seemed like it was sort of providing some value when you're looking at the daily chart. So, but to me, the intraday, it gets too busy adding that one into the intraday. So, but these are all just preferences, so you should do whatever works for you. Before I let you go, the description below, there's a bunch of ways we can stay in touch. There's a bunch of other places that you can consume stuff and interact and all that jazz. And so if you haven't looked at the description ever, or not in a while, maybe take a glance down there, see if anything tickles your fancy. And still working on some additional things, sorting out a bunch of stuff on my own side, which I've tweeted about a bit recently. Also a video that I put out last night about trading psychology and sort of some things that I do to try to clear my head, try to give myself some space when I hit a cold streak. That talks a little bit about kind of what's been going on behind the scenes as well. But that's another story. But those are just additional things that you could sort of check in on, tune into, if you want, and take a peek in the description if you haven't in a while. All right, folks. Well, I hope you had a great day. I would imagine if you're watching this video, you probably did. And I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but 1557. That's what I'm looking at. Whether we get there in the after hours right now, whether we sort of wrestle with it in the pre-market, whether we never retest it, whether we do so at open or midday tomorrow, who knows. But that's what I'm looking for. What happens at 1557? To me, that's the most important thing at the moment to confirm whether or not this was just a really nice day and a potential range break, or if this is a breakout. Range break, breakout can be two very, very different things. So now I'm sort of in the mode of, okay, what are we looking at here? But hey, certainly we'll take it. All right, folks. I hope you're able to finish the week off strong tomorrow, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.